Welcome back, listeners, joggers, walkers, gym enthusiasts, whatever you're doing when you listen to podcasts. This is the Road Contenders, and we're coming at you with episode 10. We made it to 10 episodes. I think that's awesome. I think that deserves a celebration. 10 episodes strong. Today, we got me and Drake. Jay Crane, he broke his computer. Nope, not a quack. Not a quack. There we go. He broke his computer, so he is out of touch for this episode. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring some TCG World stuff, talking, Outclass things, all that fun stuff. We had a lot of developments that came over on Christmas Day. A lot of things that were confirmed, a lot of things that were discussed in the live stream that we're going to go ahead and recap here for our listeners if you didn't get to tune into that. Because again, it was on Christmas Day. I know a lot of people were spending time with their family, but a lot of exciting news, a lot of things that are great, and I do believe since they're made public on the live stream that we're good to talk about it.
Well, with Jake right now, we don't exactly have Twitch going, or
No, so this will be playback for listeners on a podcast and on YouTube as well. But I'm thinking since they revealed a lot of the stuff on the live stream, we can go. We should be good to talk about it, right?
Yep.
Perfect, because we're gonna start with the big one. Alpha Clash is coming to TCG Player in 2024. Don't have an exact date, but they did confirm that they've known about it for a very long. They've known about it for a while, and it was just waiting to make that announcement. But it is officially confirmed that Alpha Clash will be on TCG Player beginning next year. I don't want to say in January, but I'm thinking it's going to be January. I hope it's not closer to April in Vegas time because that would kind of suck. But I do believe that it is coming. So again, people have been asking for more consistent pricing, more ways to get it out there. Outclash will be on tcgplayer.com in 2024. How do you feel about that?
Awesome, and yeah, it's definitely important that it's getting out before Vegas because this is how people are going to build their decks.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you can go there, go to the vendors there, but again, better pick up your stuff beforehand to play test before. I think that'd be amazing. So I would probably say maybe February is my guess when it will officially launch. I would be super shocked if it does come out in January, because as we've seen before, on their website there was something that was showing a TCG Player account, but then it was quickly removed. So I probably say when the new year turns around, February, it's definitely going to be launching immediately.
Yeah, the fact that it was on the website, it meant that somebody had everything that they needed technically set up. All they need is the TCG Player API to actually play ball with them, and then they're off to the races. So the website, the fact that they have everything that they need ready to go for that means that this has definitely been a long time coming, especially for those of us who have been waiting for all this time.
Exactly. Now I'll go ahead and bring this question up because I know I sell singles on my website. I know for a fact I probably would switch all of majority of my singles to go through TCG Player and just keep the store for a strictly sealed product. Um, but now I will say this though, with TCG Player, there does come the fact that there will be some higher prices on stuff because people who are really invested in TCG Player culture knows that those fees that they hit you with are ridiculous. So when you sell on TCG Player, whenever you sell something, you get hit with a 15% fee, and then your shipping and stuff that goes along with it.
H. That explains a lot.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. And obviously, you have a lot of people who will pop on TCG Player to sell their stuff. And I always say, if you don't have some type of storefront, or if you don't have the capital to do it, don't do TCG Player, because for the biggest thing, TCG Player, when you make a purchase, you don't get that money for 2 weeks. They hold that money for about 2 weeks, and then they'll release it out to you. And then if you're not a level 4 seller, your fees are a lot higher because you're a higher risk. So you're paying that 15%. Actually, no, I think it's like 22% for, they changed it now, where it's 22% if you're not a level 4 seller. And then they hold your money for new seller for 3 weeks to make sure that it gets delivered.
Yeah. Then again, I've been using TCG Player for a while. The culture is pretty civil, and I haven't really had many problems. One time I had just a card just not plain show up, and then they just refunded me for it.
Yeah, like I said, I sell like the Arcana, our Cardfight Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh, all those singles. I sell on TCG Player exclusively because I love it and I love the protection that it has. Especially Lorcana cards, I will only ever sell Lorcana singles on TCG Player. I will not ever sell them on my website. I will not ever sell them on Facebook. If you want it, you go to our TCG Player account, you purchase it there. I have protection, you have protection, and anything that arrives, it's a lot more that TCG Player can do to protect the seller than if you did it by yourself. You can, because on TCG Player, if a card arrives damaged or not the correct grading, the buyer has to provide proof. And what I do is, because I got, I'm not necessarily say scammed, but someone tried to pull one over where they damaged the card so they can go and get the money back for it. So I implemented a thing where all of our inventory we have pictures of. Any high value card we have pictures of the front, back, sides. We have everything. So when they say, "Hey, my card arrived damaged," I have proof showing that no, it did not. But those are very far in between.
Yeah, I had one case that happened like that. I ordered a Bitter Blossom, and it's $20 card for those not familiar with that side of Magic, or at least it was at the time, and it came mangled. And I just sent pictures in going, this is not okay. And then I just got a new one sent to me.
Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm so excited for that because I feel like a lot of times people will pick up cards to hit that $5 limit so they can get free shipping. And a lot of times they're going through each other and say, "Oh, this card is $1. I'll go ahead and add this into it," or "Hey, this card would be a cool token." And that's the part that makes me very, very excited. And I feel like a lot of people who are just asking for it, who are either don't feel comfortable going to different websites or going through eBay, it just gives them a way somewhere to go. And also, I feel it will truly stable the market on a lot of cards. Because you got to really think the people who are kind of setting the trends for the market is me and Ram. Me and Ram Gaming basically are the ones that set the prices for how much card value is. I try to keep things at reasonable prices. Ram will bounce off me, and then sometimes we'll go into like this small like price adjustment war. But for me, I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. I rather set my price where the price is at. That's what I'll set it at. If it sells, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because it helps me when I start buying singles from people to know where my margin line will be at. So if I buy a card at 60, 70% at 40, that's why I'm keeping that price at, because I don't want to drop just because somebody else dropped their price.
Yeah, what do you think What do you think the legendaries and alphas are going to go for on TCG Player?
I feel like you're gonna have a lot of people, two people in particular who I just don't want to name, but anybody who's listening knows who these two people are. Will set them at very, very high. Like they'll set the alphas and legendaries at $200-$300, and that's why I feel like for that people like me and Realm and we start posting on TCG Player, we can literally set that market back. Okay, cool. No, hey, a legendary Alpha Alistair is pretty much, unfortunately, in this meta right now, it's unplayable. It is a cyborg card or a collector card. I would not put that up for $200. I'll put that up, the legendary one, up the Alpha Legendary maybe at 125. The ARs of Haven, not Haven, shit, Clarity and War, 115, 120.
Okay, yeah. Because right now I'm seeing some of those go for the alphas. I'm not seeing go for anything because nobody has them. But it's like some of the legendaries are going for like 40 and 50, and I'm thinking maybe I might want to pick up a War Second Horseman before that goes up again, or if I just might want to proxy more War Second Horseman based off of the one I have.
Like I would definitely say, like those like that in Clarity. I feel like War Second Horseman. I feel 40, 45 is a decent, is a very, very good price for that card because it is very, very good. Clarity, as much as I love it, I do feel it is the weaker of the two. And I see that at a $40, $35 card for right now.
Yeah, it's a 6 cost versus a 4 cost, but the 6 cost is also dual color.
It's dual color.
That's pretty huge.
And that's how I say, like, I feel like, again, like that 30, 45 price range is perfect for that. But again, I feel like if that's where you're going to go, it's one of the cards, and that's on my list to talk about today. That is one of the cards I feel like you should pick up now, while it's just kind of there. It's not very. I say it's not good. It's not bad. Like the card design is a great card, but playability wise, you can literally either play it or not play it. It won't really affect your deck. I feel like Second Horseman is a card that if you're playing War, you're doing tokens, is a card you 100% want in your deck.
Oh yeah, Second Horseman is freaking cheating.
And that's why my feelings on that. But I would say pick those up now. Now, Backpack, I feel Backpack is a $60 card. Reason being, because if you want to play that strategy, you need that card. The deck literally does not work without that card. So it is a card that is definitely very, very reliable. And I feel right now it being $60 to $50 is very affordable. And with tournaments starting to pick up, with locals starting to pick up, I feel once that deck starts winning a lot, that card will skyrocket to $100.
Yeah. Plus, most Haven cards that you actually want to run are actually pretty cheap. So
yeah, because
that is easily, it's like twice as much as you will spend on the rest of the deck.
And perfect. I just posted a deck profile up today where doing my testing, I realized Haven Taking Risk is the best card in that entire deck.
Yeah, Haven Taking Risk is so busted in Haven specifically.
And like I was saying, I said again, when you play it and you play the Haven deck right, you're not really playing a lot of cards that's going to have high resource costs that will do you a lot of damage. So you'll take you'll take 4 damage, and that's on a bad situation. But you're getting 3 relic counters, and you have sticky fingers out. Now you're at 4 relic counters, and I just feel like that deck is so good. And I play Grant Park Chicago to literally search out more risk takers if I need them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's though the way that blue-white does it. I think because of taking risks, Haven, and not to mention Haven's buff, Haven is always going to be in blue something. And I've been looking at other different Haven combinations. One I've been looking at is blue-black.
Blue-black, I did look at that. Only reason why I did not stick with it, and honestly I could, is just because I'm sorry, the Haven package to me and to this day is still one of the best 1-drops printed for this game. Yes, you could substitute it out for Moxie, 100%. Yes, you can. You really can. You can take that out and do Moxie Black, and that's the exact same thing. But that 1-2
defense, exactly what I was going for.
Okay.
I was going for Death Dreadful.
Really?
Yeah, because Death Dreadful, you ping yourself for 2 damage, and then when she dies, and then you draw a card. And then that trips Haven as well.
Correct, because it's on your turn. Which I think a lot of people need to
Yep,
realize.
you gotta attack for it, but yeah, that's how you do it. The other reason I went blue-black Haven was because there are essentially 2 ways I imagine Haven being played, the obvious blue-white and blue-black. And blue-black actually has the counter to flyers in Underground Subway.
And they also have Warthog too, which it's a card. Warthog it's a card. It's okay, but Underground Subway is kind of just better.
Yeah, it's Underground Subway and To the Depths versus Deliverance and Grant Park Chicago.
Deliverance is such a good card. That's another card again. I feel like with TCG Player coming out, if you can find your Deliverance now cheaply, buy them. Because right now, like, I think I have ours like at $1. The foils at maybe $3. You should buy those because Deliverance is a great card. It's a 3 cost, 2 white commitment, and just gets rid of whatever you want.
Any Clash card, yeah.
And I again, that's one of them cards that it is. And that's, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. I feel like TCG Player being live will open up more where people say, hey, this is playable, this is not playable, which would then increase prices for certain cards. And I do feel like there's a lot of cards that while they're not on TCG Player, if you can find them from like either me or Ram or Swordzilla, buy them now because once TCG Player comes out, you have a lot more people buying cards and building decks. I don't feel like it'll be any more 25-cent, 50-cent rare cards anymore. Like I know for a fact, 1 cost Haven, because that's an uncommon, right?
Oh, Resourceful Helper, geez, that thing is the most expensive thing ever. I think I've run out on my own.
Like Helper, I 100% would believe, like truly believe, when Cheeseburger launch out, that is going to be a $5 card for the non-foil, and foil's going to be $25 because the foil version of Haven, Resourceful Helper, and even the 2 cost Haven, Hide in Plain Sight, are to this day ridiculous to even find. Even Reagan only has a playset of each. Right, they're like those like a lot of the foils from set 1 are ridiculously hard to find. And once T-shirt comes out, those foils are gonna be $25. I guarantee it.
And this is why I double sleeve.
What's another card I feel like will go to see play? I said before, I feel like Gotcha will start seeing play in sideboards. I don't see it being in the main. I don't see it as a main deck card yet, but I do believe Gotcha is going to increase in price. I do not see any Clash buffs going up in price.
Yeah, the Clash buffs are already kind of expensive as they are, and they're probably going to stay that way because everybody wants Clash buffs, and everybody knows that everybody wants Clash buffs, and the foil ones more so.
Exactly. Like I feel like the non-foils will be about $1, $1.50 a piece. Foils $5.
Yes, that. Those Clash buffs are basically like them and the contenders and non-foil are basically like the lands of Alpha Clash, and you're gonna have tons and tons and tons and tons of them, and you're gonna have more than you need ever going to need in your life.
Now,
but I've got a surplus of them where I just started taking all the Clash buffs and all the non-foil contenders and just stuffing them in a box under my desk.
Because
they're never going to be necessary outside exactly building that contender. And anytime you build a deck, you're going to start with those cards, and then you're never going to remove them ever.
Ever. Like, unless a new one comes out where you go, hey, this is cool.
Or I think Conquest might remove one of his because I've been playing with him more, and honestly, I think Conquest's buff really blows, and he might actually be well served by going down to 3 or something.
Now,
Combination sucks.
I also feel like non-foil contenders are going to be the 100% the first like 10-cent cards on TCG Player because you only need one.
Yeah,
you don't need 30 magnates. They're not going to go up in price. You're not going to collect like now the foil versions. Yes, the non-foils. Stop it. Don't even go. I'm gonna buy up all the contenders. No, you're not. Do not do that because
yeah.
you'll be sad.
And when the draft set your dragon comes out, they're going to be even cheaper because they're going to give you like a brick of contenders so that literally all 8 players can play any of the contenders they want, which I guess that also strengthens the comparison to Magic's lands in that when you go to a draft, you're pretty much provided the lands as you get there by the store owner, but you generally don't have to worry about figuring out where to get your basics. You don't have to worry about pulling basics or drafting them out. You'll get them.
You'll get them exactly, and that's why I feel like I feel like Clash buffs and contender should be in every LGS store, just to give to people who are playing in, like I said, in drafts and like that, because you have so many. You only need 4 in a deck. You're on 1 contender, so I feel like everybody has literally. You can, if people been buying, you can literally just have a 1,000-count box full of just those.
I'm on my way.
Now, what do you think is going to be the other big push in card? My thing is, I will always say it every single episode. Death's Door, when it hits TCG Player, it's going to be a $25 card. So right now, you think there's around $12, $13.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the big pushed epic might be Havens.
Oh yeah, Haven is definite. Oh no, you're talking about Provoked, right?
Haven Provoked. The one Safeguard.
See, I agree. I do, because I know when it first came out, seeing like $20, went down to like 12. But I feel like, again, as more Haven wins, or I feel like you don't even need to play the Haven Exodia deck for that card to be very, very good. If you just run just a regular Haven package in your deck, it's swinging with 2/5, 3/5. I mean, I'm sorry, 3/3. It's swinging for good numbers. Like, it's not going to be good. That's kind of big thing. And I thought you could put that in kind of any deck, and with the safeguard ability, it just makes it a very hard thing to deal with, because you have to swing into it. Like, you have to take it out. Or
yeah, and essentially that's your answer to like any big haymaker that gets in and taps out.
Okay, so
hopefully you had a Lefty's Last Stand to block that attack that you just took, but
and then also you think you can combine that Haven with Main Street and just give it super speed. Now it's a card with Safeguard that has super speed. What can you actually do? Oh, so yeah, Death Door is still sitting at $13.50, but again, it's sold out. Like, I'm sold out of it. I don't have any. Realm, they'll get 1 or 2 in every once in a while, and it's gone within an hour. So that's 100% $15 card. Kagen, I feel like it settled down at 16. That's not going to change. I mean, no, that's a lie. I feel like Draft Box will cause the regular art to kind of drop in price. Explosive Combatant, $9. It's going to stay about that. I say again, Deliverance sitting at $125. The foil is sitting at $5.
Which one is Explosive Flare?
When it attacks, it deals the damage to all other Clash cards.
Yeah, Flare Explosive. Okay.
Again, like that's that $9. I see that staying there. Kilimanjaro.
I see Flare actually going up.
It depends. If it's not in the draft box, if it's not in the draft box, yes, I see that. I see it jumping up to at least $30.
I can't imagine it not being in the draft box.
Like, it's so good.
That card it's one of those cards that was good before and now became even more relevant. And is probably on par with what Kagan was in set 1, because Flare answers the problem that set 2 now has. How are you going to deal with the war tokens?
Flare.
Exactly.
I do not agree with Kilimanjaro Champion being at $8.50. I'm sorry. I see that as nothing more than a $3 card. Yes, there's more things that you can draw with, but again, I just don't. I see that as a $3 card.
I'm not sure yet. He definitely lacks a lot of kit. There's not much that makes you discard. Although,
Like
against Haven, that's not discarding though.
It will be okay in against Haven. I feel like, I know when it first come out, people were talking about, oh, combine it with Death, but I'm like, I feel like it really, because Death can draw a lot, but it's so slow.
Yeah, I was using Kilimanjaro with Haven in order to just drop him down and then be able to take something out while still being in blue-black, because I think being able to stop flying is huge.
Pestilence Infectious is sitting at $8.50. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. And that's another card I feel like will topple at $10 if it's not reprinted in draft set.
Yeah, Pestilence is really gross in his deck, exactly outside that deck. And he's kind of a replacement for Sinister Assistance. If you blink.
All right, I feel like it's so. Yeah, I'm for it. Like, I agree with that. Haven Bountiful Collector. I'm saying this right now. Again, if you can get your, because right now the IRs is sitting at $375. I have mine at $350. If you want, max rarity, buy them now. But any version of Bountiful Collector you can get, buy them now, because even like the Realm is sold out. I still have some in stock, but that's a card that, as more sets come out, Bountiful Collector is a staple card if you're playing blue.
Yeah, also just foil Clash Grounds in general, except for Haven's Pocket Dimension. I mean, good God.
Good God.
Yeah, forget Haven's Pocket Dimension. It is a very slow way to do Haven and a very counterproductive way to do Haven, and basically only exists so that you can try to torment yourself by doing mono blue Haven, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah, mono blue. It needs some other
but
stuff.
Other than that, Clash Grounds, it's not just the name of the set. They are super important. If you aren't running 6, you should be running 6. Figure out some way to run 6, and you'll generally be a lot safer than if you're only running 4. Just find like some of the ones that don't cost anything or some of the cheap ones in your color and just run those just to get yourself into that 6 Clash Ground, because you are going to need some way to get rid of an opponent's Clash Ground. And arguably one I think is the best for that, Frontline.
Really? Okay.
Frontline is disgusting.
Like Frontline is good. I was saying, for me personally, if I'm not playing Frontline, like if I'm not playing Frontline, what I do is 4 of what I need to do, and then 2 of the 0 calls. But I feel like if you have room for Frontline, or you can make room for Frontline, you should 100% play it, especially if you are Portal heavy. Well, I mean, screw the restand part. If your deck is Portal heavy, like you're relying on your Portal to drop Frontline down, it's like, cool, the Portal can't be touched. It's so huge.
Actually, you may be underselling the restand. The restand is gross on the right.
No.
You restand a Strifebringer, you restand War, you restand a Kagan. You can restand anything with that thing. There's no restriction.
No. The restand part is perfect. I was saying more of, if you're Portal heavy, that's what you need to play that card in your deck. If you are very reliant on the Portal, that needs to be in your deck. The restand part of it's like you said, it is disgustingly good.
Yeah, I
Especially,
haven't even scratched the surface of all the different targets you can use it on.
um, let's see, let's keep going. Um, I feel like getting Grant Park, Chicago, will go up
Oh
because,
yeah,
again, it's a searcher.
it's a searcher and it's for Haven. That's
Um,
how you get your taking risks,
Machina and
and
Unstoppable
you want
Force.
those way sooner than you.
Yeah, you like I said when I did the profile, I said the 4 cards you want to have in your opening hand with playing Haven is 100% Sticky Fingers, um, Haven Resource Helper, Bountiful Collector, and Taking Risk are the 4 cards that you want to mulligan for to make sure you get in your opening hand. Because if you have
I
those
think I run
cards,
bountiful.
what was that?
I don't think I run bountiful in my Haven.
I just adjusted and put it in, and it's been working out very very beautifully because I run 4 copies of Provoked, and I don't after testing I don't need 4 copies, but it is good as a bountiful target because most I ever get out is 2, and that I'm comfortable with. But I like having that extra 2 copies in the deck to have something to resource. I play. Even though I do not like this card at all, but again, it's okay when I need to. Haven Clever Adolescent.
All right,
Like,
card actually.
it's an all right card, but if I have it in my hand and I don't want to play it, it's a great to just kind of put in a resource. I feel like late game when you're pushing for those last little bit of counters, that's when it becomes very very powerful because I can just swing
Very
this.
very dangerous.
Yeah, because you think about it, like when you go late game, like cool, I need to get 4 more to win. I'll drop that down, have it attack a contender, have it die, take the 2, do Haven shenanigans, draw a card, and then go ahead and swing with something with sticky fingers, and I'm pretty much good to go. But like early game, no. I do play Street Blockade because Street Blockade is good, and I do play Mystery Item. I do play 2 copies of Mystery Item in the deck. I like it because
Okay, I wondered if somebody else was going to do that.
I like Mystery Item because it reminds me of just good old Joy Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, you know what? I will take the risk to draw. Now, if I get a 3 to 4, I'm not happy because
Yeah, I find that the one that you want off mystery item and the reason that you're running it is to gain life back.
yeah,
And
because
gaining life back in native blue is very important.
yeah, for listeners, Mystery Item has 3 different effects depending on what you roll. 1 to 3, if your card attacks, you get to draw a card. 3 to 4, if you block, you get to draw a card. But 5, if you roll a 5 or 6, you get to engage the item, gain 2 life, and then draw a card. Which is, when you think about it, it's disgusting. Like, it is so disgusting to be able to do that to somebody. Like, cool. Because even I think actually in the play video I put up, I was at 8 life, and using a combination of mystery item and other stuff, I healed all the way back up to 18, and then won the game. All right, let's see. Do you see clarity for seeing fate going up?
That's more contingent on what I see out of Blue White Haven, which I'm not sure if that's the best Haven or not. It's certainly the most popular and the most obvious, but whether it's the best, and if it is the best, maybe.
Like because right now it's sitting at $2, and I think what holds it back, it being a 6 cost. I mean, yeah, Goddess is a 6 cost, but it's it was cool in set 1, but now it's kind of like I can do something else.
Yeah, I think people figured out pretty quickly that even a Kagan is kind of a stretch for 6 resources.
Now at least nobody's playing Apex Vortex Slinger with a smile on their face, like, yeah, I'll play an Apex. Okay, cool, you better lose. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad card. It's a 6/4 with flight, okay? So it's not bad. It's really not. I'm just being an asshole to it. But
Yeah, you know, my Mean Streak Death deck has both Apex and Aster in it.
but it's like like the Apex. If I had to pick any kind of Apex, I would not pick this one.
Oh, the other Apex.
I would play him, the 5 cost one, over that Apex any given day.
The 4 cost.
I think Lefty on the way needs to go ahead and just get out the way.
Yeah, that's Raft Shaft, pretty obviously.
Flare, I feel like Flare would be a $2 card. Because if you're playing any kind of red, I feel like it's extremely a staple to have Flare, especially against the 0/1 cost decks.
Exactly, because that's how non-clash damage works.
And I truly feel that Flare will be a card that will go up in price. Yeah, because it's a common, right?
Yep.
So it's a common. So I see that $1.50. But again, if you're playing any kind of red, or fuck it, you're not playing. If you're just playing anything in your sideboard, you want a Flare in your side, because like, cool, if you go against a Pestilence or Haven deck, you need to figure a way how to get that defense down to 0. And unfortunately, Flare is the way to do it. You can do other things, but Flare is just very consistent. You play one, you tap it, deal damage, and you're ready to go. Let's see. Clairvoyance, that card is going to be a 10-cent card.
Yeah, this is kind of the problem that Clarity in general had in set 1, and now it's just kind of magnified, is the fact that she doesn't really have a plan of her own. Her plan is basically somebody else's plan, but better. But she's not good enough to do anybody else's plan better than they do it, except maybe Kagan. Because Kagan was everyone's plan.
Because it's like, yeah, you could filter through your deck, but like you said, you filter into your deck to do what? Like, what are you looking to do?
Yeah, the idea of clairvoyance was very much tied to clarity, because you're looking at 5 cards and you're rigging them up in such a way that you have a good and a bad coming, and then another good and a bad coming. That way you can always get rid of the card that you don't want.
And that's kind of my issue with it. As much as I hate Lynn, I do see Lynn staying at that $3 price range, because I'm sorry, a 5 cost 5/5 with flight, it's really good.
Yeah, that's only 2 devotion in white.
I would say pick up your Shao Light cards now. I do feel like in set 3, I know we're kind of way off of set 3, but I feel like it's going to be a Shao Light very much archetype deck. And I feel like picking up your Shao Light cards now would be, kind of getting ahead of the curve.
And just a thought, of the Clash kits we've seen a black contender, a green contender, a red contender, and a blue contender. We haven't yet seen a white contender. Who do you imagine that's gonna be?
It's 100% going to be Archie Shao Light, because why not?
Because Warcry exists.
Oh, yeah, we also get a Warcry too. And we know that Warcry actually survived, so...
No, I don't think Cowling's getting anything. He's probably going to get some kind of support in rivalries, in the same way that T-Bone got some kind of support in Clash rounds.
I see Cowling getting an epic.
Eventually.
Menacing Magnates, I feel like those would be... I feel like there's so many of those cards out that I don't see it going up. Yeah, yes, it's a good stable card in green, but there's just too many of them. I feel like if you're going to pick up your Alpha Outsters now, it's a good time, since they have dropped down to about $50, because it's good to have them. Because again, you only have to have one in your deck. You can only have one in deck, so it's good to pick those up now, just in case if any other good alphas come out. So I'll say pick those up now, where they're very, very cheap. Pestilence,
Yeah,
Divya, and Servant. I'm sorry, I don't feel like it being set. I have mine at $7. I don't feel like $7. This card's worth $7. I'm
I
sorry,
do.
I don't. I say $5.
I have seen Pestilence Devious Servant do some gross stuff. Or
I,
rather, I have seen people do gross stuff and then drop Pestilence Devious, but same idea.
but like I said, I feel like $5 is good for it. Now, a card that I will say, and this after our last conversation, I do feel like should go up is Convergence. Convergence, I
We'll
see
see.
as I see Convergence. Convergence foils $10.
I'm still playing around with my Conquest right now, and I've almost got it in a position where I like it, and I didn't use any Convergence. I'm not
Really?
sure if I will. Yeah, as like I was talking about earlier, where I thought I cracked Conquest.
Uh-huh.
The what I figured out, the moon. You want to put your opponent in a position where there's a no-win scenario. So if they got blockers up, if you have the moon online and your portal's open and you could just shut it at the end of your turn with domineering, then what you do is you attack with stuff and get in for damage, and they can either block and get defeated, and then you proc your contender ability, or they cannot block and then you draw a card anyway because you have the moon up and the portal's open. So essentially, you're drawing a card when you attack with Conquest, regardless, unless they manage to kill it,
You know what?
which you should be able to see coming. So yeah, Conquest, the moon is your key. My working title for that deck is Lunar Apocalypse.
Haven taking risk at foil cost being at $4. Yes. Favorable outcome. I see it just being like $1 because
Are we just talking set twos?
No, we're talking. I'm going through just. I'm literally just going through every card, and I'm kind of going through that, seeing things that should go up, should probably stay.
Is Blinky on your list?
It is not.
Really? I think Blinky has a lot of relevance in set 2. If you're going to get a mean streak off the ground, Blinky is going to be how you're going to do it, most likely. That new mean streak, rather.
I think the reason why I didn't put it on here, because I feel like another card that is very flooded, because a lot of people pulled it and just didn't see the value in it, and just kind of held on to them. So I feel like that's the reason why I feel like it is a good card. I feel like it's a good card even to this day. I don't think it's a bad card. I don't think it ever was a bad card. But
yeah, maybe it had some easy outs, but it was definitely a very powerful question.
But I feel like once Tcg Player launches, there's going to be some people who have like 20 copies of them, 30 copies of them, and it's just going to flood down the market. But I still say you should pick them up because, again, it is a very good card. Because you literally can, there's mean streaks and T-bones that cost 1, and you just send them to the Oblivion and you bust on this card.
It's rare I actually get to pull that combo off, though.
Really?
Usually the reason that I go for it is because he generates streak counters really quickly, because all he needs to do is defeat something. But and also he has super speed to make sure he does. And if need be, you could just buff him if you're actually running mean streak, which you probably are if you're running Blinky. By the way, Blinky is mean streak blink of an eye. I don't know if that was pointed out.
Yeah.
It's just cutesy nicknames.
What about what about Gamma Spear?
Not yet. Magnate is building a bunch of stuff, and especially Coworker is gonna make Magnate's Gamma Spear a lot more viable, because that's what Coworker is for. Yeah, another cutesy nickname, Magnate Convoker, but I misread it at a draft as Coworker, so that's what he is forever.
Like I feel as though Spear would have been better. Like I feel like it would have been a very, very soft card if it was a quick instead of it being a basic. If it was a quick, I feel like it would to this day it would be very, very relevant.
Yeah, the problem with Spear being relevant is that it depends on Magni being relevant, which shade thrown.
Exactly.
There are so many better options than Magni nowadays. You don't need to do Magni because he's the toughest one there is. There are other things that are just as hardy as him.
Let's see. Going down the list. Spiritual defense. We're just like, I'm not even going to entertain that fucking card. I'm not going to entertain it. I'm not going to entertain Detroit. I will entertain Denver. I will entertain Denver.
Yeah, Alpha Hunter support.
Like again, any card that allows you to draw. In the same way how I feel about Rainforest, where people are not. I feel like a lot of people are not playing Rainforest anymore, and I'm still like, why not? Like there's no reason to not play Rainforest if you need that extra slot for your Clash Grounds. Like you don't have a reason not to play it. Like
giving your opponent free advantage, that's a good reason not to play it.
Correct, but it's still a card that you can put in that make that 6th slot. Yes, you can play something else, but I still feel that Rainforest is still a good card to have. It's not too crazy. You can get rid of stuff for very quickly. And the same way, how about Denver? Denver to be able to draw in this card, I feel like it's very, very good. Clarify. Those have dropped tremendously. They're no longer $60. They're like $20.
Yikes. Yeah, I can see that.
Pick those up.
If you want to bother, because it only targets alphas.
Right, but like I say again, I feel like right now is a good time to pick those up. Just kind of preemptively plan for set 3. Because, you can have more alphas come out. And since they're $25 now, and it's a legendary, and it's from set 1, which I do not see these cards. I personally don't think they're going to get reprinted in draft set. I do not see the legendary from set 1 being reprinted in draft set. Because they're so situational. And with set 2 meta, they're pretty much unplayable.
Yeah, which is yet another reason why War Second Horseman is so good. If you're gonna choose one, it's probably gonna be War.
It's going to be War. So I feel like Clarify being $25 right now. Go ahead again. As you only have one, just go ahead and buy it and have it. So that way, again, when I always say like the legendaries, I do not feel like we'll get reprinted in draft set. I do not see them getting reprinted. There's no point because of this. If I reprint a legendary in a draft set, what's the point of me ever having to go out and buy a booster box? I just wait for draft set.
Are the legendaries at all in the draft sets?
They will not announce. From a marketing standpoint, it doesn't make sense to put legendaries in the draft box.
Yeah, I thought the point of the set boosters was essentially to be like for the people invested in the story. And then if you just wanted the draft experience, you could wait for the draft boxes like Year of the Dragon or whatever comes next.
Yes. And I think it's also going to be part of the tournament as well, where drafts will be part of like the weekly tournament that you do to have with that. So that's why I feel like, again, pick those up now. And also, I know from the stream there was people throwing around about having the case toppers be tournament legal. So that's another thing. If you want to pick those case toppers up, that I guess you can do that too, because it's cheaper to buy the case topper than buying the case. I don't see why you would want to, but okay. I would say pick up Alpha Hunting Specialist and pick up Edwards, because if they come out with new support for those for the Moxie deck, you'll want to kind of have those ready to go. Even though I feel like those would definitely be reprinted in draft box.
Yeah, I feel like Edwards is going to be like the joke of the series going forward. It's like maybe we're going to get more Edwards support set 3. Maybe we're going to get more Edwards support set 4. Maybe we're going to get etc. And we're never going to see another Edwards card ever again.
I don't think we're ever seeing another Edwards card. It's gonna be that one Edwards, and he's gonna be sitting in that chair, just like just sitting with that face. Why am I a joke to you? You know what you did. Moxie Prime the Clash, I would say pick those up. Even though the market is very, very flooded with them, pick up your foils because all you need is more weapons, and Moxie is even better.
How about Moxie preparing for battle in foil? Now that's a card I imagine a lot of people are going to want to see. Yeah, anybody running any kind of black is going to want those. Pretty much for the same reason as Haven, just not as good.
I would say Siberia, especially with a lot of Clash kits being sold out. If you can pick up your Siberias, buy those. Like, actually, yeah, any card that came in the Clash kits, buy them. Because like I said,
if you can.
Yeah, because like I'm completely sold out of Clash kits, and I'm sold out of those cards like that came to Clash. I don't have any, and even as a distributor, they're sold out. I can't get any more Clash kits right now. Sergeant Weber, if you want to, I guess. I will say this: if you are a Team Covenant person, get those promos. When they're gone, they're gone. And unfortunately, when it hits TCG Player, I feel every single Team Covenant promo will be no less than $100.
Oh wow! I'm going to be swimming in dough.
Because think about it. Why not? Why not put a high price tag on it? Because no matter what you try to do, you cannot go to Team Covenant and get that card again. So why not?
Oh, yeah, it was more uncontrollable. Yeah, I don't even know anybody who even has those.
I have 4.
I've never even seen one in person.
I have 4 in my deck.
Jeez.
I have 4 in my deck, and I'm keeping them there, and I probably won't get rid of them. But again, it's like that's a card that, again, unfortunately, when it hit TCG Player, and I would never be mad at anybody who puts them up at $100. I'm like, because I mean, when you think about it, why not? You can't get it anymore. They don't make them.
What about the box toppers?
Oh, the box toppers, 3 cents. like the box top,
really?
like I feel like $1.
Like, I think there's enough boxes floating around to justify that.
Let's say this. I know for like I have, so I'm gonna pull up how many Magnate I have on the website. I'm gonna go right now, and this is the ones that I decided to list, and I have a whole nother box full that I did not list. Right now, I have 36 listed on my website. I have 36.
I freaking 9.
And I have an entire 1,000 count box full of more that I just chose not to do.
Oh, wow. Of Magnate Tyrant?
Yes.
1,000 Magnate Tyrant?
I opened so many boxes of set 1. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so we're not going to have any problem getting those, which is good because Magnate the Tyrant is good.
Warthogs, I have 40. Oh, no, 40 boxes so far of Clash Round. So I have
already.
I have those. I have enough. I don't want any more. Like, I think at one point, I started putting Magnetic Tyrants free in people's orders. Because I have so many.
Wow.
Then I was like, yeah, they're free. Oh, it's so nice of you. No, seriously, just please take them. I don't need them. And it's a good card. I just have so many.
Yeah, it's like you have more Magnate the Tyrant than I have Clash buffs.
And it's
such a sick thought.
It is truly ridiculous. Like, it is honestly ridiculous how many I have it. And I said, this is a lot. And but that's again. But I was so excited for set one, I just kept buying. Like I have like in of singles, I have two 5,000 count boxes full of singles for set one. Like I have a lot. I have a lot of set one, and that's why I'm trying to acquire more set two singles. Cause I do want to add some more of those. And then that's pretty much my idea of things that are kind of going up, going down, all that fun stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you mentioned Boom.
which one?
Boom.
Here comes the boom. That's until that card is either nerfed or reprinted. $25. Plain simple. Like it's $25 card. If it gets reprinted in draft set, which I do feel like it will be, it $25. The same thing with Twerk Uncontrollable. I feel like it's still on floor.
Well, imagine if it gets a new art.
Like yeah, now I feel like if it's a new art, it will not affect the original Here Comes the Boom pricing at all. I feel like it will still stay that same. I feel like the draft set one will come in at maybe $15, but the older one will still be at the high, $20. Twerk Uncontrollable, I see that staying around $15.
Really, it's 15 now.
Yeah, it's I have listed at 15.
Yeah, I was seeing it float around 11 at places.
Let me double check.
Maybe that was because I was looking. I haven't seen it looked up in a while.
Let me double check. I'm on my website now, and I have Torque. Oh, I think I one of them spelled wrong. Yeah, one of my torques is with a G. It's with a Q. I have $12.
Yeah, that's about what I was seeing them for.
I have $12. I have.
I think those are gonna go because there are so many more answers to them now.
It really is. There's ways to remove that card. Deliverance for one.
Deliverance, like half of Pestilence's package.
The entire Pestilence deck can just take that out without. I mean, you think you start to turn off, which you should never ever do. Turn one, play Torque and pass. You should never do that. That's just being a bad player. And
yeah, you used to be able to get away with that. Now you can't.
Like that. Like if you open your turn and you go, cool. I play Torque and pass. Cool. I'll play Pestilence -2, -2. And
I don't think people are actually going to do that though, because every time you do that with Pestilence, you discard a card. I don't think that's worth it.
See, I think
you're gonna with Pestilence, you want to crack the portal first, then drop your Pestilence shenanigans, then play Wastelands and collect them back up, and then do it again. That's the Pestilence way.
See, I don't feel like it's not that bad because Pestilence skill lets you draw a card, so it's kind of recycling. But yeah, so you're going negative, which is not good. But I feel like again,
yeah, if you're in Pestilence, yeah,
if you're in Pestilence, it's okay. But again, when you think about it, you're still going negative. But it's still not as bad as it could be because it could be 20 times worse. But I feel like
honestly, I think Mayhem Maker is way more splashable, even though its stat line is much worse. It's just a 1/1 rather than a 2/1 for 1. And but it actually draws you a card just on its own effect.
Agreed. But yeah, those are only cards I can really think of that will really change the market once things kind of come out. I feel like those are a lot of cards that you want to pick up now. I say again, pick up the legendaries from set 1 because they are so cheap. Even if again you're like, oh, I don't really want to play it, you should still do it just in case. Um, what else? What's another one that I didn't even think of? Second Horseman, that's like $75. Don't expect that to go down at all.
What do you think of Strifebringer's price?
Strikebringer will be $2. Foil $7 or higher.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because if it's definitely going to be a card that's going to show up a lot in tournament decks.
Now, this is the last topic of the night. Do you feel sideboard cards will be expensive? You know, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have your extra deck, where a lot of times the extra deck is more expensive than the actual deck. Do you feel sideboard cards will be more expensive than the actual deck?
Sideboard isn't really analogous to Yu-Gi-Oh's extra deck because Yu-Gi-Oh already has its own sideboard that's separate. So it's not exactly a fair comparison.
Okay, fair enough.
As far as do you expect to spend a lot of money on your extra deck? You probably don't expect to spend much money on your extra deck at all, given that your extra deck is basically just answering things that your deck can't answer. Not necessarily bad cards, but cards that aren't as situation that are a little more situational that you want to see your opponent's contender before you put them in. Like Better Luck Next Time is an excellent card that you'll probably want to have in your sideboard if you're in blue because it just takes Strifebringer and just snaps him out of existence when he attacks, which he will attack because of course he will. It's like the Ancient Protection and Magnate's Plans. Those are all going to be really important, and that may actually drive up the cost of commons. Maybe not to the level of Haven, but Haven's an uncommon, which doesn't help her availability, and those are commons. The Issue Protection Magnate's Plan.
And I actually speak on that point. I know I said that was last time, but I also want to bring this up. A lot of the uncommons in set one, their pull rates were terrible. So they're a lot harder to have, and they're a lot harder to actually. A lot of people don't have them.
How come? Was there just a lot of them?
No, like again, like the Havens or Shugaboo and Haven, they were very hard for people to pull.
Chugaboo and Haven was rare.
Okay, even worse. Like a lot of the uncommons and rares in set one were not as pullable as cards in set two were. So again, a lot of people have like their Havens. You know, they may have a couple extra, but not a lot of people have like, oh, I have 30 copies of Haven Social Helper. A lot of people I have 8. I have 10.
Yeah, it's like I used to be able to just like in paper make whatever deck I want because I just bought a case. I can't do that anymore because of Haven Resourceful Helper specifically. There are not enough of those to go around.
They're really not. I think I have a couple of play sets from it, but that's because I was able to buy multiple cases. But again, it took me multiple cases to get 3 play sets.
Man, I don't think I had that many problems with it. Also, I try to diversify my colors a bit so that I'm not running white plus this, white plus that, white plus this, white plus that over and over and over again. So I try to have little more unique color combinations. This is why my Haven isn't blue-white. But I have the blue-white package. I just find it less interesting.
Absolutely. And that's why I feel like. But no, I feel like if anything that'll get reprinted and draft set 100% will be Havens.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot easier access.
I truly feel that is one card they're printing because again, it's such a staple card. But again, I don't feel. But again, like we also have to remember this: the draft box cards have different codes.
Yeah. Are you anticipating any rarity shifts?
No,
Okay.
I don't think any rare will get bumped. Um, do now if they do, I would love to see cards, get like not necessarily like a rarity, like from a rare to like epic, but I would love to see different foiling. Like I would love to have Haven, like Haven. I know we keep talking about Haven, but I would love to have it. Haven in that AXO foiling. I would love that.
Oh, is that the gold lettering?
Yes, or
Like for
like
that one meme streak and Last Stand?
yes. I would love, and they have the new hex, the basically in those foilings, it has the Alpha Omega signs in the back. I would love to have like Flare in that. I would love to have Haven in that. I would love a Torque in that foiling. I would love to have that foiling for those cards, or even in Kagan. Like, get it. I know they're doing like the comic book monochrome. I would love to have that in the EXO. Like, I would love in Draft Box, but I don't know how that would work. But have like a new chase rarity where hey, like these 8 cards can be an EXO rarity. But then they also said that with rivalry kits for the tournaments, that there's different prizes and promos that come in that foiling. I think will get people to go out to play. Would 100% be like Havens and Torques and Kagans in that foiling. Like that would get people to go play. Like I think Torque Forceful Hitter is a cool card, but I'm not looking to like really like, oh, I really want this card in this foiling, besides say, hey, I have it. But it's not something I'm going like, I'll skip this week. But if you're like, hey, Death's Door in this foiling, like those big, or even just like epics in that foiling, I feel you'll get a lot more people coming out to play every week. And that's just my input on that. Like, give me epics in the AXO foiling. I guarantee that I will run tournaments every single week.
Yeah, I'm thinking more from a perspective like the tournaments are going to be sold by the game mechanics itself rather than any shiny variants. Because if this ever does become big like Magic, you know what people do in Magic? They buy low rarity cards on purpose because they can't afford the big rarity cards.
Yes.
They buy the cheapest, most damaged, but still intact version of a card that they can possibly get. And hey, I got a Jeweled Lotus, sucker! What do you mean? It's got permanent marker all over it. But it's a legal Jeweled Lotus!
It plays. Let me see. Let me go over the draft box one more time. Because this is something I'm excited for. So March 15th is when it comes out. We have the unique cards. No, not draft box. I want to look at more of the rivalry. I know a lot of people ask about that. Clash Ground organized play update. Here we go. And yeah, you get Torque, Forceful Hitter as one of the promos. Or so yeah, one rivalry kit contains 186 total cards with Weber's binoculars times 40. Jesus Christ. Main Street Looking for Trouble times 40. Sinister Assistant times 40. Okay, and these are all in special parts. Haven Improvising Torque Forceful Hitter and 54 Main Street Blink of an Eye. Yep, perfect. Yeah, that works. But yeah, that is our time for tonight. You have any closing statements?
Not right this second.
All right, perfect. But
so guess we'll see y'all next week.
See you next week. And again, next week we're gonna try out a 2 versus 2 format. Again, it's not been announced yet, but shit, we're gonna make up our own rules. Not make up our own rules. I don't want anybody like, oh, they made up their own rules. No, that's not what we're saying. We're just gonna come up with something for 2v2 that's fair and fun, and that's what we're gonna bring to you next week. Yep.
Fortunately, the game engine is robust enough that it's generally written in such a way that it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to do. but we're gonna have to take some liberties on some things. For example, it's like only one clash ground between all the players is one thing I was thinking of.
Yes. 100%. Unless you want to do is cool. I played this, you played this, now we get double stat. Yay! No. Hell no. And one thing,
Yeah, no, there will not be double war zone on this field.
like no, like that'd be terrible. Now something I'll say, any card that's exclusive goes for you and your teammate.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like again, if it's exclusive, you put out one copy. I feel like it's for a reason. Can you imagine? Like, cool, I have, Warhorn. You have a Warhorn. Yay! And also, I truly believe unrivaled cards. Same thing. We both cannot play
one unrivaled per team.
Yes.
I'll think that one over.
Because can you imagine if you like, cool, let's say me and you on the team. And we're like, cool, we'll both go ahead and play War Second Horseman. Have fun.
Oh, I was thinking like you're thinking like we do our turns at the same time. I was thinking it's like we just play and like alternate between teams.
Oh yeah. That's how it be. But I'm saying like, say if on my turn I play War Second Horseman, like Jay Crane goes to go back to you. Do you play your War Second Horseman? Now our team has 2 Second Horsemen out getting those buffs, and we're just sitting there like, cool.
Yeah. Fortunately, we didn't have to resolve what happens when you clash buff allies because clash buffs almost exclusively say they target things you control.
And see, like that's why I feel like the teammates, the board, like your board is yours and your teammates' board. So it's one board. So basically, it's still 2 fields, but 2 people are working in one field. Does that make sense?
I thought it would like still be 2 fields because the implication is that 2 resource rows.
Yeah, so it's still
you don't want to combine resources.
No,
you can't share resources between players.
Yeah, I 100% believe that. Like, yeah, that one definite. No sharing resource, and also believe no sharing what's in your hand. Like I feel like what's in my hand is.
I agree with the sentiment. The trick is how do you actually enforce that? It's like, hey, you should really go for the attack. Wink.
Yeah, you know what?
I got this.
I feel like it should be just strictly, hey, no communicating with your partner at all, because like you said before, like, hey, wink, wink, nah. Don't do that. You're good to take. No, just you got to play and just be fair.
It's like you should either go full information or no information. And when you go no information, you really have to figure out how you're actually going to enforce that. So that's why people usually go full information between allies.
I say we can definitely kind of hash the details over the week. I'm going with no information.
Yeah, I think it would be difficult to enforce that, so that's my stance.
Okay. But yeah, so again, listener, that's what we're going to plan on doing for next week. We're going to go ahead and cut off here. Thank you for listening. And also, watch for our next episode. Peace out.
Yeah.